Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another marquee video. This is Fyre Festival 2 Somehow Got Worse. Okay, so we all know about Fyre Festival 1. Like, that seemed like a scam, but I don't know what they were going for. I really thought that Fyre Festival 2, they would have a good comeback, and then they would show everyone that, like, this is how it was meant to be. But dang, how's it going to get worse? And when is it? Like, was it canceled? Is it going to be canceled? Are they still going to do it? But I wonder how it got worse. But I guess I'll find out when I start this video. So let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
Right, so a couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a video talking about Fyre Festival 2, and just the fact that it was happening.
And also, like, as the person that's trying to organize this, how, like, didn't he go to jail because of Fyre Festival 1? So, like, how can you not do better for the second Fyre Festival? Like, didn't you learn from the first mistakes that you made? Like, I don't know.
Happening was already shocking enough, but unsurprisingly, there was a lot of issues. And again, today's follow-up video with some new updates is also unsurprising, because, again, there's a lot of issues. And in fact, it's not even just issues at this point, it just seems like it probably isn't going to happen, and we will get into that a little bit later on. But quickly, if you're not aware of what Fyre Festival 2 is, or if you're not aware of what the first Fyre Festival was, it was this festival that was notoriously a disaster. There's a full Netflix documentary, a bunch of other streaming platforms have also released documentaries talking about it. The face of the festival was this guy right here called Billy McFarland, who actually ended up going to prison because of the first festival. I believe the specific reason he went to prison was because he lied to investors and took a lot of money off a lot of people, and now owes a lot of money to
He took a lot of money.
Over $20 million.
And could only provide
That's how much money we're talking here. But he basically started
sandwiches.
This festival. He promised a lot of things. You know, it was going to be on this like remote island. There was going to be these.
Dang, he's about to go back to jail.
He had all these adverts with like
what is he doing?
High A-list celebrities, I guess. Hailey Bieber and like some of the Jenners were there as well. He was really making it seem as if this was the festival, right? It was going to blow all these other festivals out the water. And long story short, that didn't happen. He basically scammed a lot of people. So of course, like I mentioned, Billy goes to prison, right? And as soon as he gets out of prison, he has already talked about the fact that he's going to do a second festival, which in itself seems like a ridiculous decision to make, right? You went to prison because of this festival, and now you're deciding to do it again. It seems
like, if the first one didn't go well, why not just like take the good ideas from Fyre Festival 1, if there were any, and just start small, like do something small, like an event or like something else. But he's trying to do this whole festival again when the first one went bad. Also, the first one went so bad. How are you going to promote the second one and make people go to that one?
a bit stupid. But also on top of that,
this is giving Pink Sauce Lady, like, they don't know when to quit.
But either way, we tried going ahead with it. Even put tickets up for sale. The cheapest one was $1,400. The price went all the way up to about $1.1 million if you wanted this like Prometheus package. You got to stay on like a yacht, and obviously you got treated like royalty, but like paying $1.1 million for a festival,
that's dumb.
I don't care how rich you are, that seems like a crazy
waste of time.
decision. And by the way, someone actually bought this ticket. Apparently 2 people actually bought the ticket. One person wanted a refund in the end, but there was 2 people who actually purchased this ticket apparently. Now in the last video we spoke about a lot of the problems that have happened since like Fyre Festival 2 has been announced, and it's all kind of to do with location. The first location where Fyre Festival 2 was supposed to take place was Isla Mujeres in Mexico. That's how it was getting promoted, right? This is the location, we've got the location sorted. It seemed like everything was going as well as it could. And then this was until a lot of articles started coming out saying this. Fyre Festival 2 does not exist according to the Isla Mujeres Tourism Board. Organizer still claims it's real. This is on people.com. But then we ended up getting a statement from the City Hall of Isla Mujeres that said, due to the information circulating in the media regarding the event Fyre Festival 2, the General Directorate of Tourism of Isla Mujeres informs that no person or company has requested permits from this office or any other municipal government department for said event. For more information about tourism-related events, we invite you to consult our official communication channels. And in fact, we even got some more information on this article on people.com. It says Edgar Gasca, Director General of Economic Development and Tourism of Isla Mujeres, also denied that officials were aware of the festival, telling The Guardian in a story published on Thursday, February 27th, We have no knowledge of this event, nor contact with any other person or company about it. For us, this event does not exist. Now, shortly after this, Billy and the Fyre Festival team
Like,
announced
why?
a new location.
How you
So
gonna
it's now
promote
moving from
something
the
at a place you
This
didn't
time
even
it's
get
now moving to
permission
Playa del
or talk to
Carmen,
people
and
about it
again,
with?
the same thing happened.
Creator Billy McFarland told
Why sit in the
customers
dark?
the sequel to the doomed 2017 Fyre Festival was being moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. But now, city council officials there are refuting the city will host the event. Writing in a statement, no such event with that name will take place in our city, adding, there is no existence of a registry nor plans that would indicate such an event taking place in this municipality.
Now, in the last video, we went through Fyre Festival and Billy's response to all of this, and they are basically claiming that this is all lies. Like, they had the permits, they were talking to the government, they had everything in place for this event to actually happen, and then they just came out one day and released a statement saying that they never heard of it and the event doesn't exist. Now, before we get into the main reason of why I wanted to release this update video and why I'm like now assuming that the festival just isn't going to be happening, Billy actually recently did a video with Coffeezilla. It was on his like Voidzilla channel. He was asked a bunch of questions about the festival. Now, ironically, this video was uploaded on the day or the day before the newest update, which basically shows that the festival just isn't happening. But in this interview, Billy is claiming like everything's going fine. Now, I'm only going to show a few select clips here.
What?
It's a 37-minute interview if you do want to watch it.
People
It's on
just
the
love
Voidzilla
to
channel. But there's a few things that I
lie.
think would be important to put in this video. So Billy is asked what his response is to the government of Playa del Carmen, basically saying that they've never heard of this event and they haven't been working together.
On a Friday night, everything is great. On Sunday of that week, I start seeing local newspaper articles where, and this was not picked up by the U.S. press, where the local government of Playa del Carmen was saying they've never heard of Fyre Festival. Meanwhile, you know, we're live on their Instagram page. They just did a press conference with us. We have all these permits. They charge us for these permits. So I do a call with the senior government officials, and they're like, oh no, like, you know, we would never say such a thing. We're fully supportive. And they send me all these text messages saying, you know, we never said that. We love Fyre. Like, we love you guys.
Now, what Billy claims happens here is that the local tabloids
What are you talking about? You love Fyre?
Playa del Carmen,
Like,
and saying that she was a scammer.
the festival never happened. How you love Fyre?
Billy, who's known to be a scammer,
The festival.
working with Fyre Festival too. So the government's response to this was basically saying like, we've never heard of Fyre Festival. We're not working with them.
There was never, the last conversation with the government was, oh, we never said anything negative to the press. We're fully supportive of Fyre. And we have all the proof and evidence of this. What I was told after the fact and was sent pictures is that the local tabloids were attacking the mayor and basically saying, oh, she's a scammer. You know, she's part of this scam company. Like, we always knew she was a scammer. And I think in their minds, the best way to handle the assault of like their local tabloids, instead of a measured response, was just to say, oh, we've never heard of Fyre. Like what's Fyre Festival? And it was just like so absurd.
So yeah, this might have been true, right? They might have actually been working with the government of Playa del Carmen to try and host this event, and then because of the backlash, they decided they want nothing to do with it. I mean, yeah, I can see that happening because of course there's going to be backlash. Again, the most shocking thing about all of this to me is the fact that Billy even wanted to go through this again because it was going to be like so much
Yeah,
harder
you went
the
to
second
prison
time, right? Who's
for
going
the
to
first
want to host
one.
this event? And not just that, who's going to want to work with Billy full stop, especially if he's now going back into...
So what's gonna happen when the second one fails?
What put him in prison in the first place. Now, towards the end of the interview, Coffeezilla says he's been speaking to someone who claims they were a part of the Fyre Festival 2 team, and Coffeezilla says that he's seen, like, some stuff that's been sent over, and it looks like they were actually a part of the team, so he wanted to ask some questions based on what this person had said. The first one being, apparently there has now been a split between Billy and the production company.
So I had somebody come to me, and he says, you know, basically... He says he was directly involved in the organization of Fyre Fest 2. I'm sharing this because I believe the public needs to know what's going behind the scenes. Basically, he says there was a split between the production company and you, and Lost Nights is no longer associated with Fyre Fest. Is that true?
That's not true. So we have no issues with Lost Nights. There's been no formal split with the production company. I think the location will determine who is producing the event. So obviously Mexico is their backyard, and we of course would love to work with them wherever we go. I think the final location there will determine that, but you know, we're in hourly communication. There's been no formal split of the company.
So yeah, you can see Billy is saying that these claims aren't true, and that's kind of like a theme of this whole like end part of the video. Again, he's asked about a bunch of other like team members who have apparently stepped away, and he denies all of this.
This person, which Fyre...
Dang, and then after this interview, 2 days later,
They say,
it got canceled.
Sponsors, partners, production, booking, and logistics team have already stepped away. And you're telling me today that's false?
Yeah, that's not the case.
Okay.
You can kind of see by like CoffeeZilla's reaction, like he doesn't really believe it. Like that's what I'm getting from this anyways. And I mean, you can't blame him, right? He is interviewing someone who has notoriously lied on a massive scale before. But if you just watch his interview, it seems like everything's still going smoothly. They just need to get the location sorted. Well, again, either on the day that this interview dropped or maybe the day after, it all went to shit again. We can see an article here on the New York Post saying Fyre Festival 2 seemingly cancelled after creator Billy McFarland puts the company up for sale. I need to step back. And yeah, I mean, if you go to the Fyre Festival website or if you go to Billy or Fyre Festival social medias, you will see this statement. So let's have a read through. When my team and I launched Fyre Festival 2, it was about two things. Finishing what I started and making things right. Over the past 2 years, we've poured everything into bringing Fyre back with honesty, transparency, relentless effort, and creativity. We've taken the long road to rebuilding trust, we rebuilt momentum, and we proved one thing without a doubt.
He just needs to give
Fyre
up at
is
this
one of the
point.
most powerful attention
But apparently it got
engines
cancelled anyway.
in the world. I mean, look, Fyre is massive, right? A lot of people are aware of Fyre Festival, but it's not for
Not in a
any
good way.
reasons. Since 2017, Fyre has dominated headlines, documentaries, and conversations as one of the world's most talked about music festivals. We knew that Fyre was big, but we didn't realise just how massive the wave would become. The wave that brought us here, to a point where we know it's time to call for assistance. Yeah, I mean, he scammed people of upwards of $20 million. It was always going to be headlines. It was always going to be big news. Especially with it being on such like a public scale, right? You're using all these like celebrities to promote it, right? This festival that's been promising these crazy things, like it's going to be the festival. So of course when that doesn't happen and people find out about how big this scam is, of course it's going to be big news. And that isn't rare for these big events. If there's this big event that's been promoted and it turns out to be a disaster, you know, something like horribly goes wrong, like Woodstock, for example, right? I'm sure people have seen documentaries about that. Like, it's always going to be big news. This brand is bigger than any one person and bigger than what I'm able to lead on my own. It's a movement, and it deserves a team with the skill, experience, and infrastructure to realise its potential. We have decided the best way to accomplish our goals is to sell the Fyre Festival brand, including its trademarks, IP, digital assets, media reach, and cultural capital, to an operator that can fully realise its vision. And now this is interesting, right? Because my first big question here is, like, who would buy this? Like, yeah, Fyre Festival is known, right? It's a well-known brand at this point, again, for the wrong reasons, but it is well-known. But to buy the branding and try and put on these big festivals, it really does seem like you're putting yourself at a big disadvantage more than anything, right? We've seen the troubles that they've had just trying
But also, like,
with
if you know all the backstory behind Fyre Festival 1 and all the backlash and all the, like, all the negative press about it, like, even if you did Fyre Festival 2, like, would people even want to go? Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like some people would want to go just to see, like, if it was another train wreck. But I feel like some people, they're like, I'm not going to waste my money on that. I'm not going to be scammed. Like, I feel like the reputation is so bad. Like, would people even want to go in the first place?
With the reputation of the brand, it seems like it would cause more issues than actually help. This is a clear path for operators and entrepreneurs with strong domain expertise to build Fyre into a global force in entertainment, media, fashion, CPG, and more. For example, in the 2 years since we've relaunched Fyre Festival, Hollywood and entertainment executives have already licensed the brand to develop properties specifically in theatre, music streaming, and free ad-supported TV. In addition, following the challenge we faced in Mexico, we were approached by several Caribbean destinations eager to host Fyre Festival 2. We dove into the process, meeting with national officials, conducting site visits, and were confident we found the ideal location for the festival. While I'm incredibly excited, I can't risk a repeat of what happened in Playa del Carmen, where support quickly turned into public distancing once media attention intensified. For Fyre Festival 2 to succeed, it's clear that I need to take a step back and allow a new team to move forward independently, bringing the vision to life on this incredible island. Yeah, so basically, what it seems like here is that Billy feels like if he is the face of this company, which he currently is, this festival just isn't going to happen because anyone who decides that they're going to host a festival is just going to be battered in the media. Which, I mean, is probably true at the end of the day, right? Now, I do wonder if this means that Billy would still want to be involved in some way,
Wait,
right?
but I thought he said that
just not as like an owner, or if he really
2 days after that interview, it got
step
cancelled.
away from this.
I was interrupted by an ad, but I was trying to say that, didn't he say in the beginning that after that interview with, whatever, I forgot the guy's name, something Zilla, didn't he say that 2 days later, like, Fyre Festival 2 got scrapped or canceled or something?
And have no involvement at all. I mean, from what I'm gathering from Billy's interviews, it feels like he wants to launch this festival because it's got this big name, and people who are just curious because of the first festival might buy tickets. It could earn a decent amount of money. It could help pay back people, because he is having to pay back over $20 million here. So now if he can just sell the company, he has a bunch more money.
Okay, so he doesn't have the money to pay the other investors back. So he got more money. Wait, what? So people lent him money to do Fyre Festival 2, even though he didn't pay back the other people. So are these people going to get their money back? Because it doesn't seem like Fyre Festival 2 is going to happen.
To give back to people that he owes, I just don't know how much he would ever possibly get for this. Giving control of the brand to a new group is the most responsible way to follow through on what we set out to do. Build a global entertainment brand, host a safe and legendary event, and continue to pay restitution to those who are owed from the Fyre Festival. Yeah, so of course this restitution he's talking
from
about
the first festival.
Investors, I believe, of the first festival. To the supporters, believers, and people who stuck with my team and me, thank you. We will pick the new group based on their ability to execute the vision of Fyre in a transparent, grand, and expeditious manner. The next chapter of Fyre will be bigger, better, and built to last without me at the helm. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't really take much for it to be better, would it? Like, and bigger, maybe it probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't be bigger, if we're being honest, in terms of, like, the public actually knowing about it, hearing about it, because there were some big documentaries that came out about the first one. But better should be really easy. It just has to, like, you know, happen. As soon as that first act starts playing, it is already better. Interested buyers can learn more at fyre.mx. Sincerely, Billy McFarland. There's also some documents attached here to try and, like, persuade buyers and show them just how big Fyre Festival is, right? Like, there's a document here that says market size. Fyre has more impressions / reach than any US-based festival brand over the past 7 years. So we can see here, Fyre Festival impressions since 2016, 31.7 billion impressions. Again, yes, it's not exactly the most shocking thing that Fyre Festival's had the most impressions out of, like, any festival, because it was such a disaster.
In a negative way.
That's the reason, right? Like, these aren't good impressions. They also showed their Instagram demographics. We see this got 3.941 million views. 73% of them coming from non-followers. These are obviously just people who were curious to see, like, what is happening with Fyre Festival, it seems. But yeah, that's what's happening here, right? They're trying to sell the brand. Now, just to go back to the interview that Coffeezilla did with Billy McFarland, Coffeezilla has actually put a pinned comment here that says, update, after repeatedly denying Fyre 2 was dead in his interview, Billy announced today via Instagram that he is selling Fyre the brand. So it looks like the insider I confronted Billy with was indeed correct. So yeah, the overall conclusion.
So how are you going to deny everything in the interview and then 2 days later just be like, well, actually,
is that unsurprisingly,
I don't understand.
Fyre Festival 2 was a disaster, and we didn't even get to the festival itself this time. That will not be shocking to 99% of people watching this video, I do understand that, but it's interesting to see it actually take place. It was always gonna go this way, it felt like, as soon as Billy said, we're gonna do a second festival, it just felt like it was always gonna go wrong.
Okay, that's basically the end of the video, but yeah, it's giving like I said earlier, the pink sauce lady, like, just keep trying to sell something to the public, but people don't really want it. And also, I guess for the festival, you're supposed to be offering people these things that you promised, and like, it doesn't live up to what you promised, so it seems like a scam. But yeah, I guess we'll see if it ever happens, if he ever sells it to someone else, if it ever actually becomes a real festival in the hands of someone else. I don't know, but that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, let me know what else I should react to in the comments below, and if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI V, and if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.